Welcome to NQAT Daily, and today we're going to talk about Manchester United versus PAOK, PAOK in the Europa League. I had to check this one up, Wayne. PAOK is how we say it.
Okay.
I even tried to get ChatGPT to tell me how to pronounce the unpronounceable full name phonetically so I can get it right, but I keep muddling it up. Can you do it? Doing Greek?
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, I can't. Well, I do. Obviously, we're going to talk about United's history in playing against, I guess, Greek opposition. But it's the first time we've ever played anyone who sounds like a Batman sound effect. So, right, that's so disparaging, and I'm so sorry if there's any fans listening to that.
At Wayne S. Barton on Twitter X, if you're
doesn't matter.
Greek,
you will have to feel
would like to voice your disapproval of Wayne's horrendous take there. Yeah.
You will have to wade through hordes of City fans who were disappointed in me today because I tweeted a little funny against them. So,
oh no. I did enjoy City getting thoroughly spanked yesterday by Sporting, as we all did, of course. And Noel Gallagher's slapped ass face on TNT Sport. What on earth did TNT think they were doing here? Chuckle semblance of objectivity out of the window and just have a celebrity fan on. Why aren't we on? Go on. Oh, by the way, one of my tweets was up on TNT yesterday, so I've apparently found fame now.
Yeah. Well, which one they got you with?
Not the rude one involving Liam Gallagher, the one in which I said Ruben Amorim is clearly the reincarnation of Busby and Ferguson.
Nice. Yeah, I tweeted something along those lines. He's an ex-Sir Alex, taking Ruben's words. I'm taking your lead in calling Ruben by his first name. Yeah, it was. I don't mind. Do you know what? I know we'll all laugh at Noel Gallagher, but I don't mind that for European games. I think British broadcasters can show a lack of objectivity in that regard. I don't mind that so much. I think it's more to do when they, as they have done in the past. We grew up watching United. Like, obviously, our memories of European football early 90s because we missed so much of a period of it in the 80s. So first memories of seeing it on ITV when everyone did get behind United, or seemed to. And then when United were no longer top dogs, let's say Arsenal or Blackburn or Liverpool were playing in it, and they were critical towards United, I thought, hang on a minute, that's not the game we were playing. We were all supporting Arsenal in the 94 European Cup Winners' Cup final. A lot of us wanted Arsenal to win for the country of England and blah, blah, blah.
I didn't.
I didn't mind it at the time. I was like, yeah, that'll be good. And then, is it 95? I must admit, I did laugh in 95 when they lost the final. Was it 9 from the off?
Lob Seaman, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
Very good. All right, so this is Ruud van Nistelrooij's third game in charge, third of 4. And United so far have 3 draws in a row in the Europa League Group Phase.
Yeah.
And better than PAOK, who've lost 2 and drawn 1. So at least we outrank them.
Yeah.
What do we know about them? I had a listener drop into my DMs and said she had spent a year in Greece and watched quite a bit of them. They are Greek champions. They lost out in the playoffs of the Champions League and had to do another playoff to get into the Europa League. And apparently play pretty direct counter-attacking football. Much of the type we saw Sporting deploy against City, such great effect yesterday.
Yeah.
So this could be interesting.
Yeah, let's hope that they don't beat us 4-1 and then their manager becomes manager Manchester City. By the way, their manager, Lucescu, he's been there for 5 years. I think it's fair to say that they're the strongest of the Greek sides, but they've never actually got into the Champions League. And I think when I was reading up about the manager, and in his second season there, he won the domestic double unbeaten. And that was only I think it's 2019 when that happened, but it's still recent enough that it's part of the makeup of who they are. And I would suggest that makes it dangerous to write them off. Much like when we played Ammonia a couple of years ago, and we thought, oh, easy ride from one of the smaller islands out there, and we had a really tough game. Not so much in Ammonia, funnily enough, but Old Trafford, they were really tough. And I think that we might expect that. They're an interesting club. If you were to get behind a club in Greece, you might want this club. I mean, they were formed by refugees. They've got a history of international conflict, displacement kind of thing. Where is their home kind of thing? And they also have suffered tragedy in the past. In 1981, the then manager, in a big game against Olympiacos, suffered a heart attack during the game and died. And they were challenging. I think they must have been going quite close at the time, because it was obviously tense enough to invoke that kind of reaction from him. They played the Greek Cup final a couple of weeks later, and they were dedicating it to his memory. They were still unable to win that. So they got a tragedy in their past, like we've got. I don't know. It'd be an interesting thing. I've for the purpose of the podcast, I found myself studying more about European sides than I normally would, and I think that this is one. I do think it'll be relatively comfortable. They should be, but I think I feel more of a relationship with this club than possibly most of the others. And we would talk about all of the group games, right? Before when we did the draw.
They're not one of the sort of giants of Greek football traditionally. I mean, I know they're champions, but four times champions, as you said, last year, 2019, 20? Can't remember the other one most recently, and two in distant past. So, some way behind Panathinaikos and Olympiacos in terms of success in Greece. But yeah, look, even the club name points to a complicated history, and as much as Greece is, right, right at the heart of Europe for millennia, and with some disputed borders and names to go along with it. Their ELO ratings amongst the lowest of any of the Europa League Group Phase teams. It's just a suggestion, right? It's a ranking of quality rather than the UEFA coefficient, which will always be low if you don't participate in UEFA competitions. This is a measure of quality, so one would expect them to not be the strongest side, or one of the weaker sides in the competition that's kind of played out so far. And this is at Old Trafford, so if we're not going to win this one, we're not going to win anything.
Some familiar names in their team.
Some familiar names, yep. When we were talking about them the other day on the pod, I completely forgot that Shola Shoretire had moved there in the summer, which is quite an interesting move, because I think I'm right in saying he doesn't have any Greek heritage to call upon, right? This is not based on like family history or anything like that. He just took a role at a club in Greece, which is a very different pathway for a Manchester United youngster who's not making it at the club.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the first person to do that. There's different players. I'm going back 15 years or so, but Sam Houston, who was a young midfielder at the time, I think he moved to a Finnish club, and you thought he might do well in the lower leagues when he left United, but he made that move as well. In Adam Eckersley, there was the Eckersley twins in. People might remember them from the 2000. Eckersley brothers, not twins, Adam and Richard, who were in the 2009. At least I don't think they were twins in the 2009 season anyway. And Adam went to Denmark for a little bit, so it's not out with it's not crazy for a United youngster to do that. It is strange, because I felt he showed promise, and I thought that he might be a good option for a Premier League team, actually, or even a top of the table Championship side. I thought that we'd see that of him. Obviously, didn't get the opportunities that Elanga got. Maybe he's a little bit lightweight, I don't know. But they've also got other familiar names in there. Dejan Lovren, legendary Liverpool defender. A couple of others in there as well. So, although
expecting a nice warm reception for him.
Well, he doesn't play very often for them, so maybe he won't get in the team. So, we'll see.
Yeah, I noticed Shoretire played 6 times for them this season, all in the Greek league. Is he in the Is he? I assume he's in the squad. He's probably not on the A list, right? He's a youngster, so he's probably on the B list for PAOKs. Yeah, well, we'll see whether he turns up in Manchester. Maybe they should pull him out for the press conference and he can give all his answers in Greek just to piss Gary Cotterill off. All right, not to keep going on about that one. If he's there, yeah.
If he'd probably be still chasing Ruben Amorim's car. What a guy. What a guy Gary is. We've talked about him enough, right? And
we have.
Do we need to kick in on him again?
No, he's had his 15 minutes. Now he can fuck off.
Yeah, okay. Do we need to talk about this from a United perspective? We probably do, right?
Yeah, to quote Richard Mottram, you're fucked, I'm fucked, we're all fucked. So, no, this is... don't go to politics.
Yeah, I was going to say...
no, I'm not talking about it.
You're steering that somewhere else.
I'm fully focused on football, which is the only thing to focus on.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well,
yes, United need this win. It's people expect it to be 14 or 15 points getting to the top 8. You'd rather, in this very crowded season, not have an extra 2 games in late January, early February to get into the next round. So, which is what will happen if you finish from 9th to 24th. 15 points, so we got 3 equals 4 wins from the next 5. I mean, it's perfectly possible. It's not a super high quality set of teams you've got to play, but this is the easiest of the bunch. Yeah, based on the ELO rating at least. And what do we think in terms of changes to the team from the weekend? I mean, Ruud didn't make too many changes. Did he switch the fullbacks around, which was kind of interesting?
Yeah. It was interesting. And also interesting that you didn't think to do the same with the wingers, considering that Garnacho was never going to... He's not quicker than Reece James and he's not stronger than Reece James. So, so interesting that he thought that deeply about it, but didn't think that deeply about it. Because we've got the international break coming up and because he's got this run of 4 games, I don't expect that he will change. I think it'll be a strong side because I think the message will be, you've got us into this mess and it's time to really put on the performance. And I think we will, to be fair. We did it against Leicester last week. And I think that I'm not usually bold on predictions on how I think United are going to play, but I think they're safer to make sometimes in the caretaker reigns because of the fact that managers tend to go full strength. They don't take chances we would have all liked to have seen in this game. It feels like a perfect game for Amas to get a run or a debut. It's not going to happen. It'll be the regular fullbacks, and you would. I mean, like I said, I'm not usually bold in projecting what I think is going to happen, but I do think we'll probably see 2 really confident performances in the next couple of games. That's what I'm hoping for anyway. And I do think that United played like a United side last week against Leicester. Less so the weekend, it was difficult, but I think we'll see that again tomorrow.
I think you're about right there. I think it'll be a pretty full strength side. He hasn't looked like he's going to make a lot of changes between the games so far. Didn't make major tactical changes. United were probably fairly quick from back to front. I mean, looked slightly different in that, but actually that's not way out of the realm of Ten Hag ball, is it? Hard to tell against what was a decent Chelsea side, which should be much stronger, retain more possession against PAOK, one would think. And we'll see if there's any changes. I mean, I presume it's Højlund through the middle rather than Xerxes. He came on and, it wasn't his best few minutes, was it? And then what do we do with Rashford and Garnacho? Is it both of them again? Do they switch them around? Does Ahmad get a little time? I mean, he's much beloved by all the stats nerds, is Ahmad, although I think it hasn't really translated into actual assists, goals, and chances created yet. Or chances created, yes, but not assists and goals.
Yeah, I think tomorrow I would expect, first of all, Højlund to start because there's a bit of a breaking out with what we're seeing there. And Højlund's not been particularly convincing. He's grown a little bit in confidence, a little bit. And I feel that maybe that is down to Xerxes not hitting the ground running. And the fact that Højlund might be able to ascertain some kind of authority over that position, which is no bad thing. It's a bad thing for Xerxes because I think, again, in the normal run, if we're not talking about caretaker reign, you would be saying, yeah, play Amas, play Xerxes through the middle because these are the confidence-boosting games you need. However, that's currently needed for the senior side, all the first-choice players. I think we'll see Garnacho rested, and I think that it'll be Rashford and Ahmad in there because I think Ahmad deserves that start. We may even see a change in midfield. I don't know how he's going to work that, but I feel like one of the youngsters, like Cole, I don't know if Colley's still around or Go, but if they're close to selection, I feel like one of them should be in. Fitzpatrick's been on. Is it Fitzpatrick who's been on the bench?
Fitzpatrick, yeah, he was on the bench at the weekend, yeah.
So maybe
Colley's around. He's in the squad, so it'd be he may well get some game time. We have to think about Casemiro and his workload because he's obviously much worse when he's strained. Although the balance in midfield with Ugarte and Casemiro has looked pretty good last couple of games, hasn't it? I mean, does make you wonder why Ten Hag just outright refused to play Ugarte. Basically, just wouldn't do it. It wasn't his signing, was it? Apparently, Xerxes wasn't his signing either. Brief to Neil Custis of The Sun, of all people, that Xerxes was a bit more rotund than Ten Hag would have liked when he arrived in the summer. I was like, pot, kettle, black. Jesus. I mean...
I thought you meant Ten Hag then, but no.
No. I'm like Custis, yeah.
Can you remember when Van Gaal went in on him? So
yes, I do. Called him the fat man. Yeah.
But then Custis went on a diet to say, would he have lost this amount of weight before Ten Hag was sacked? Can you remember that?
Yeah.
Flashback.
We should not laugh at body shaming, but
I'm not. I'm laughing at the challenge. That's what I'm absolutely not at that. That's not a thing at all. I don't mean that. I just mean the challenge of like he got so personally insulted by it that was the thing he laid down. And I don't know who won that battle. I know Ten Hag. I think Ten Hag outlasted what he projected, but I don't think Neil got to where he was proclaiming he was going to be either. So.
Wow.
We need to...
All right.
Next time I'm on, I'll find out the results of that epic battle, which I think everyone will want to know.
It looks like none of the injured players will be back for this one, so apparently Shaw and Mount still some time away. Ruud said that... who did he say was closer? He said that Malacia was closer than Mount and Shaw.
Well, that means nothing, right?
That means nothing, yeah. Because I feel like he'd been back in training for months and months and months and months, but he keeps having setbacks. So
exactly, closer to what? Closer than what?
I don't know.
It is nothing. Do you know? It's just a word. But I'm not having a proper rude. I just mean like the terminology we used around those three players is so vague and non-committal that.
Will the sun turn into a red giant and consume the earth in a fiery ball of death and destruction before Tyrone Malacia is fit again? Probably.
Well, we're close to it now, aren't we? You're getting political again, Ed. We weren't going to do that.
That wasn't politics. That was astrophysics.
Oh, I thought, well, interchangeable today, I think.
Yeah, so comfortable win. So, Anana, Dallo, who are the two centre-backs? Delete Martinez again, or does he rest one of them? Mazraoui, Casemiro gets a rest, and it's probably Eriksen comes in, to be honest, rather than one of the youngsters. I think he'll play it fairly safe, and I agree with you. Garnacho probably needs a rest since he's played a lot of football, and we don't want him to go the way of Kobe Mainu and
Evans in
get injured.
Martinez,
Evans
maybe.
could come in. Yeah, Evans could come in. I did see an interesting stat talking to the forwards that Garnacho in the Premier League, I think this is, Garnacho has taken 29 shots, Rashford 10, and Højlund 4 so far this season. The balance is not quite right there, is it?
Højlund 4?
Yeah, he's barely...
In the season?
He's barely had a shot. I mean, he has been injured for some of it. So,
Good grief. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's an efficient finisher as well. So
Yeah.
if you get him an opportunity, he does finish. Yeah.
What, 1 or 2? 1 or 2.
So yes, Ruben Amorim said just before we go, said that we cannot expect to transport one reality onto another. Manchester United cannot play like Sporting can. So that quote had more to it than that.
Yeah.
I think everyone took that tiny little snippet and was like, oh God. I have to say, I did have flashbacks to when Ten Hag said, no, we can't play like Ajax. And then proceeded to buy every Dutchman and every Dutch affiliated player known to mankind.
Yeah.
The
extension of what he said was that I can't play as defensive as that. I have to play more attacking at United. So, worry not, dear listener, because the full quoting context is much healthier than
it was. Yeah. Ruben Amorim, like the only manager in history to go, yeah, we played really defensively after scoring 4 goals against Manchester City. Yeah. I mean, it was interesting. We're going to go into this on the tactics show, actually, with Danish and Daniel later. Have a think about it. That's on patreon.com/NQAT or on the Apple Podcast feed. If you're interested, we will break down how exactly Sporting beat Manchester City so comprehensively. To humiliate Curly Watts' side and Liam and Noel Gallagher. Your boys took one hell of a beating. So, yeah, we'll break down that. But it was interesting how much of a flat back 5 they had for that game, and they broke incredibly quickly.
He said after the match, I'm sure the show will be a riveting listen, and I'm not going to pour water on it, but it didn't. Amorim did say after the match there was nothing overly tactical in the second and third goals because it was straight after the break, and I found that interesting. Really, does he absolve in? Does he kind of go like wash my hands of like anything that happens in the first couple of minutes or last minute? I understood what he meant, by the way. I did understand what he meant, but when you've got your collaterals lurking, ready to pick apart every word that you say, I wonder. I'll be interested to see what you guys make of all that, because he did point out that he didn't think that the actual change in pattern of the game came from anything that was tactical, at least in that first 5 minutes in the second half.
Sure, they just got the ball forward really quickly to the big lad up front.
Why not?
Why not? Yeah. All right, we'll leave it there. Predictions: United 3, PAOK 0. That's what I'm going for. I know we haven't scored 3 goals in like forever. Well, we did against Porto. So European competitions, we score goals.
I'm gonna go. I think maybe even more than that, maybe 4. But I think we'll concede. But yeah, I think 4-1 seems like a nice round scoreline for me, not for the Greek supporters. So sorry if you're listening again after I insulted your team name.
Yes. All right. Thanks a lot, Wayne. Thanks a lot, everyone, for watching. We'll catch you next time.